بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. Dear sisters and brothers, Salam alaikum. I pray that you're well, inshallah. And if you're not, as I always say, that's totally fine. Tonight is a night to become well. I'll just speak a couple of minutes till the noises around us calm down a little bit, and also engage you a little bit to make sure you're awake. How are you feeling? Excited for the night of Qadr? Also, I see, mashallah, some people with the lovely Shabab Al-Sibtayn hoodies, very nice. It says what? An-Niyya, and what do we have? Taqwa. Very nice. Once, inshallah, we need to talk about taqwa. It's such a beautiful word and often misunderstood. Let's recite another salawat, and this time we actually start. The times we are in is the theme of the lecture series for the past few nights, and I have been saying that we have already entered into a new chapter in the history of insan. The ones who don't realize this soon will have to wake up with a very terrible feedback. There's that beautiful hadith by one of the ma'asumeen. He says the world keeps giving you feedback. It wants to let you know that something is going on. Initially, it says it very quietly. If you don't listen, it increases the volume a little bit more. If you don't listen, increases it a little bit more. And then if you still don't listen to the feedback of the universe, the gate has to come shake you. There's something going on. A very obvious example of this could be with our health. Especially when we're younger, we get so many feedback that we need to maybe change our eating habits or maybe exercise more. But we keep ignoring the feedback. Then suddenly you're 40, you go to the doctor and says, I'm so sorry, we have 5 months to change this or we'll lose you. What do you mean? I have 5 months? Or, and says, yes. And then you look back and you see the signs were there. Like 10, 20 years, you had these small issues you ignored. And now finally the universe has to let you know through this big feedback. And even that is out of love. How is that relevant to our discussion now? I have a feeling a lot of people still haven't woken up. A lot of religious people have not noticed what times we are living in. If they don't wake up soon, life will let them know in ways that I wouldn't wish for anyone. I'm already seeing a lot of this. A father who says, my daughter brought police to us. I'm saying, Habibi, why did you have to wait for that to realize your methods don't work? You can't force this generation to do what you want anymore. Try it. That time of I'm a parent, I'm a sheikh, I tell you what to do, you do is over. Either you realize it or you keep doing it and wait to see what happens. The feedback is getting very loud. And the reason we are having this lecture series is because I'm saying let's make the transition smooth with the least amount of trouble, with the least amount of pain. A lot of what we were told, a lot of techniques we were using are no longer suitable to the times we are in. Giving information to the next generation is not going to help them one bit. The only thing that you can pass on to your children, and even yourself, by the way, that would save you at a time like this is light. Either that light is there or not. If it's not, no matter what you say, it's only going to make things worse. Yesterday, we spoke about this a little bit. Those who weren't here yesterday, I really recommend you later on go back and watch that lecture 3. I said, you can no longer treat yourself, your family, your community like a closed system that we could do before. Before we were like, no, these ideas should not come into our community. These things shouldn't come into my house. My child shouldn't listen to all of this. And now, I'm not saying bring them in. I'm saying you have no way of stopping them from coming in. You think by stopping someone, for example, from, there's, in other words, no way for you to stop your child or yourself from being exposed to all sorts of things. So now you have to say, okay, what can I do now? There was this thing I saw online. I thought it's such an interesting thing for the time we're living in right now. A father was telling his son, it's the time for us to have the talk. And the son said, okay, father, what do you need to know? It may sound funny, but this is the reality of the times we're living in. You want to protect your child from being exposed to things, Habibi, he knows 10 times more than you. And at the surface of this, for a parent, this is a very difficult situation to be in. Like, I get us. I get why a lot of people are feeling scared, worried, anxious. I can even see faces here who have made decisions to move to other countries. None of that is going to cut it. Or maybe for a couple of years. We need to change our attitude. And what I've been saying in the last few nights is that this is not a bad thing, by the way. This is a great thing. I know it's difficult. I know it's very different to what we are used to. So it's natural for us to feel a little bit uncertain, anxious. But once you know what is actually happening, you realize this is the best thing that could ever happen for you and for your family. What I was saying yesterday, and inshallah will continue now, is that so far we were kept protected. We weren't really living as an insan. We were living like an animal in a protected area. No predators come in. The food we choose what to give you so that your stomach can handle it. It's a protected area. It was like a lab. Up to this point in the history of humanity, we were lab animals, lab insans. We're protected. And obviously, with protection comes safety. So that's why we never decided to leave out. We never decided to become insan in its full glory. Why? Because most parents were like, if I want to see my child grow or my child be safe, I'll choose safety. They didn't know that the actual safety is in growth. I'll talk about it. But I'm saying up to this point in history of humanity, we all decided I would much rather my child remain like myself, not grow basically that much, but remain safe. Now I'm saying when the option of remaining safe is being taken away from us, and it's increasingly going to become so, there is no other option but to grow. Now you're maybe scared of growth, but the moment you see what you can become, that day you will be like, oh my God, all of it was worth it. All the difficulty, all the fear, all the worry I had for my child was worth it. Look at this child. This child is so beautiful. Many of us are going to be parents of children whose beauty of character is going to be so inspiring to us. Because we were not trained in a time like this. We have not become full insans. The only thing we were told what to do was, don't go across this thing. Don't look at this. Don't do that. Don't touch that. Don't see this. Do this. Do this one. They did not care whether we understand or not. No one ever cared this thing you're telling me not to touch. I want it, huh? This thing you're telling me don't see. I want it. Okay, maybe now I wouldn't touch it. Maybe I wouldn't see it, but I really want it. No one told us you can get to a place where internally you outgrow it. One of the sad things, by the way, if you don't pay attention to this, what will happen within you will shock you. If you're not already shocked by what you find inside yourself. Please recite salawat. Please recite another salawat. Yesterday I was watching the session at home because I usually watch the lecture from last night to see what's the flow so I can continue. I heard the sounds of a baby. It made me so happy that we have like such young ones among us. Isn't that so nice? Honestly, some of the babies right now, in few years, they're going to be so beautiful. We're all going to be inspired for them. Should we recite salawat for all these little ones and their parents? Wow. And as a parent, don't worry. I love hearing their voice. So don't stress. Even people around them, relax, enjoy. Even if you couldn't focus, go at home and watch. Let that baby be comfortable, no? All these babies, when they grow, you finally wish someone taught us how to be like them. One of the things that happened with us, and by the way, some people are still not letting go. They still want to keep us like this. They treat insan like a stone. They think that if I just stop you from doing certain things, you have grown. But they don't know that I will only grow as an insan when I internally decide not to do something. When I internally don't have the desire to do something. Otherwise, I may behave really well. I may look like such a decent person, nice outfit. Oh, look at his manners. He eats with proper etiquette. But none of this is who we are. There was this, please pay attention to this. There was this interview I was watching of a performance artist. He had done a performance in the 70s. The artist says, for 6 hours, from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m., I'll just stand here, and there are 72 or 76 objects on the table. You can do whatever you want with these objects, and I'll just stand here. Please pay attention to this. I'm teaching you self-knowledge. The first couple of hours, everyone is just watching. Everyone's like decent people. People have come with their families, husbands, wives. Everyone in their suits. You look, oh wow, a lot of insan. Look, human beings. They look at the objects, they see there's water on the table. They go and give water to the artist. They see there's a rose. They give the rose to the artist. A couple of hours pass. They see, oh, there's no consequence for whatever we do. Slowly, slowly, things start getting weirder and weirder. Someone comes, hurts her. Someone comes and cuts her with a razor. By the end of that 6 hours, there was almost nothing they didn't do to her. All it takes for that very beautiful insan in a suit next to people, oh, how are you? I'm good, how are you? To bring what it's inside it out was a few hours of someone telling, do whatever you want, there would be no consequences. And then they brought all of this dirt out. Oh no, I'm saying all this time people told you, don't do this, don't do that. All of that dirt is still within us. No one taught us how to outgrow the dirt. I know we all may sit very beautifully, all very decent, nice people, but you know yourself certain times when the dirt suddenly comes up in your mind, or when you think, oh, if someone wasn't next to me, what I would do. That's when you realize what kind of a terrible parenting or religious education was this, that I listened to them for so long, and it seems like within me there is still so much dirt. And the interesting thing is this, instead of them admitting that they didn't do a good job of helping insan grow, they bring your dirt as a sign that you can never be a good person. One of the things, for example, that I've been told a lot recently is that if you tell people that God loves them, they will go and do all sorts of nasty things. Do you know what that means? By the way, an advice, never talk to a psychotherapist when you're emotional, because you expose so much about yourself. When someone tells me that if you tell people God loves you, they'll do nasty things, you're telling me that you want to do so many nasty things, it's just that fear of God is stopping you. Hang on a second. Is that the person you want to be? Hold on, let's say one day God says there's no consequence today. Do you really want to go and do it? You want to go and hurt people? You want to go and cheat on your wife? That's what you're telling me. The only thing stopping you from cheating on your wife is that you're scared of God. What the hell is this? Honestly, isn't that a miserable situation to be in? That we have accepted as insan. If there's no consequence, I would be an awful person. You don't want to grow. You don't want to be nice. You don't want to choose to be loyal internally. What the hell is this? Now, because they didn't know how to help insan, obviously there's that dirt inside so many of us. So we would make a mistake. They would say, see, you trust an insan, he goes and make a mistake. You trust an insan, she goes and make a mistake. I'm like, you didn't know how to help them grow. That's not who insan is. Help an insan find his own worth, her own worth. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, Man karumat alayhi nafsa hanat alayhi shahawatu. The one who knows his or her own worth will be so much above their desires. Even if God says there would be no consequence, they wouldn't do it. Oh, asan salawat. You know what salawat is? Salawat is insan. You're stuck in your own desires. You're stuck, people treating you like animal, and then you suddenly hear the name of an insan, Muhammad. Honestly, it's like a breeze coming from heaven. We'll talk about it. So see, the problem we are in right now is that for 14 centuries, insan has been kept as an animal. But there have been two types of animals. One, in some cultures, they got fed up. They were like, you know what? You keep telling me not to do these things. I want to do them. At some point, they were like, you know what? Forget about these religious people. Forget about us and God. I want to go and do what my desire tells me to do. So at this point, you have a person who thinks, an insan, who thinks he's an animal or she's an animal. She says, okay, if I'm an animal, might as well live like one. I'll go and do whatever I want. I'll sleep with this person. I'll do that. I'll steal this. I have money. I don't give others. Who cares? Survival of the fittest, no? So now you're dealing with an insan in some cultures like that, in the wider culture. I'm not talking about, for example, religious people. And then you have a religious person who wants all of those things, just says, I just can't have it. So do you see, in both camps, we still don't have an insan who says, Baba, these things are beneath me. That thing Imam Musa Kazim said in the prison, when the ruler sends the most seductive person to go and seduce Imam Musa Kazim, Imam tells her, you have nothing that I want. Now let me show you what I have made my God, and she changes. This is insan. Insan is the one who shows others, look with my God, what I have, that everything you have is nothing compared to what I have. The insan of a religious community right now is nothing like Imam Musa Kazim. The insan of a religious community right now is, I want everything that person who doesn't believe in God is doing. I just can't have it. Maybe if I die, I'll go to heaven. I do the same things. The only difference is that you're like, okay, for 40 years, I'll be a good person, then I'll get it in heaven. You're still an animal, kid. You haven't grown. And don't think, by the way, that we're much different. We're all in this together. And the problem is, no one told us, insan, you can be so high, so great. Even the people, let me tell you this, who wanted to help us, they themselves were struggling with finding that beauty within themselves. Pay attention to this. The person says, hope, if I want to tell others, all these people who say if you tell people that God loves them, they'll go and do bad. You know what that means? They are making a statement about who you are. They're saying you, at the end of the day, would choose bad over good. There is no inner light inside you that if you're safe, you would choose good. Why do they have such a belief about insan? It stems from who they are. And I'm not judging them all. Even they can outgrow it. But it means the religious messages to us are coming from people who within themselves have not found their fitrah. And when they look within, or when they look at you, they think if we remove the fear away from this person will choose to do bad. Just like those people in that art performance that after 4 hours there was nothing they didn't do to the artist. If that's all you can offer people, what's the difference between you and a non-religious person? If you can't help an insan get to a place where he or she chooses internally to do the good thing, then what's the point of you? I should be fair. Maybe for now there was a point they didn't hurt others, whatnot. But even that is not going to be an option going forward. We have to find that inner divine fitrah that God has given us, or everything you've heard so far will go away. These things within us will come out. Believe me, all the things that we've kept inside and haven't acted upon, and believe me, some of you don't even know what's inside you. Believe me, you don't. Those guys in that performance art in the first hour, they did not know what they would do after 3 hours. You don't know what is within you if you don't find your inner insan. But I'm saying as we go forward, you will see it. But I want to show us a way from the teachings of Ahl Bayt that before you encounter those animal things within you so clearly, you manage to bypass it and become the beautiful insan that you are. The brothers, can you give me what I asked you to give me? Please recite the salawat. Oh, thank you so much. The hoodie came as well. It's X large? What do I get? Niyat or taqwa? It's so beautiful. May God, inshallah, help us with our intention. How are you feeling, by the way? Is this a heavy topic, by the way, or no? On a scale of 1 to 10, how can you tell me now? Oh, that's a 10. Yes, bless you, of course. Can everyone see this, by the way? Yes? Hold on. Inshallah, the cameras, I don't know which camera is getting me. I'll show it to all the cameras for people at home. It's this one for people at home. It's a beautiful orchid. I'll say why this is so important. This is everything you need to know about yourself. It's just here. Imam Ali alayhi salam has a hadith. He says, for a person, for an insan, there's one thing that if he or she doesn't know, no matter what other things they know, they're still a jahil. They still don't know enough. What is that thing? To know yourself. This is so fundamental. Imam Ali says, insan, if you don't know who you are, no matter what other things you know, you're still a jahil. كفى بالمرء جهلا أن لا يعرف نفسه. Well, why is this so important? Because if you don't know who you are, people tell you who you are, and based on that, you shape your whole life. If you don't know what kind of life is possible for you, you never aim for it. Do you know on what basis on the night of Qadr people are given things? Do you know that? Based on their need. If there's a need inside you for a level of spiritual growth, it will be surely given to you. Do you know why most of us, after 30, 40, 50, 60 years of nights of Qadr, still haven't changed spiritually? Because the need wasn't inside us. Do you know why the need wasn't inside us? Because they never told us what kind of life is possible for you. They treated you like an animal who has to behave well, not to go to hell. And so most of us, our highest goal on a night like this was, God, just don't send me to hell. Hala Imam Ali says, insan, okay. But do you know there's much more? Like, not interested. Well, let me tell you how you've been tricked your whole life, but how, alhamdulillah, God loved you so much that you're in such a time that He's forcing us to wake up. Look at this beautiful orchid, please. Pay attention to me this 1 or 2 minutes that's about to come. I'm hoping this image will stay with you for the rest of your life, especially in the moments when you're on your own. In the Quran says, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. We created insan in the best possible way. But what did we do then? ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ. God says, insan, you are so beautiful. Asan, if you know what you are, you will not be able to take it. The moment you see who you are, you cannot take it. But what is the challenge? God says, after I created you, ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ السَّافِلِينَ. Then I took insan to the lowest of the places. You may ask, why did God do that? God says, Bibin, you were a seed, I planted you in the soil. If you want to have a beautiful flower, what do you have to do? You plant the seed under the soil. This dunya, you're finding yourself in that soil. Please pay attention to this. Everything you know about yourself is not who you are. You are currently just a potential for what you can be. The culture is telling you you're nothing other than this seed. Get used to it. Your place is next to the worms. Your place is next to the bugs that live underneath. And because you've always found yourself next to them, a lot of us have accepted. Okay, maybe I am a worm because imagine, just close your eyes for a second. Imagine a seed under the soil, not knowing that it's not meant to stay there. After a while, what happens? Okay, maybe I belong here. Maybe I'm one of these other soil creatures, like this worm and that bug and that insect. Maybe it's time for me to act like one. Religious people came and said what? No, don't act like that worm, but you belong here. Prophet came and said what? Nah, you don't belong here. We've just planted you here. This seed is going to grow roots. You're going to come out of the soil and become this beautiful flower that you see. If you don't become a flower, even when you look within, even when you look around, you know what you see? Nasty stuff. Why? Because you still haven't come out. The flower that you are hasn't blossomed. So you may look within and say, Sheikh, I don't see anything beautiful inside. I feel unworthy. I feel I'm not good enough. I feel I shouldn't exist. I can't even believe why my partner should love me. I have these weird desires. I can't control myself with that sin. I'm saying yes because you're looking around in the soil. You're not meant to be here. This is not who you are. You're meant to outgrow this. Now, why is it that none of us got out? Because no one told us. They told us, yes, this is who you are. These desires will be with you for the rest of your life. Just make sure you don't do it. Or if you do, punch, fear of God. Or fear of parents. I mean, you need to, in order to break out of the soil, this dunya is the soil for insan. This dunya is the soil for insan. And in order to break free from dunya, which is what Imam Musa Kazim did, so that even if the craziest desire in the world comes in front of you, like, you're so beneath me. Imagine to this orchid, a worm coming to present itself. Oh, I'm a worm. I'm an orchid. I'm looking at the sun. I'm with the flowers. What do you have to offer me? That's Imam Musa Kazim. Much higher even. In order for us right now in the soil to break free, what are two requirements? One, know that one day you can be different. Know that one day there can be no fear there. There can be no one to stop you, but you yourself would choose to do good, that life is possible for you. You need to know you can be like that. You need to know that you don't need anything to be happy. You can be so powerful, so strong, so courageous, so kind, so loving, so selfless, receiving so much from God. All of that is possible for you. You can get to a place where nothing in the world shakes you. No one, what they have will make you jealous, will make you insecure. You can get to a place where you look at your partner, you're filled with so much joy that even the thought of being with someone else doesn't even occur to your mind. You can be to a place where you look at your child and gives you more pleasure than kings have in their palaces, because all of these are qualities of the soul. Right now you haven't even met your partner. You haven't seen your children. You haven't seen yourself. All the idea you have of yourself and the people around you is in their seed format. You haven't seen the flower they are. That's why you get tired of each other. Otherwise, if you knew even one person, one child, one brother, one uncle is enough for you for the rest of your life not to feel lonely. But when you see who they are, we're treating each other like that seed. We're treating each other like that animal. Let me now read a line from Imam Ali alayhi salam, because I'm sure someone will say, what is this nonsense you're bringing to Shia? Well, let me read from your own Imam Ali that you don't know. One thing I've learned, the people who know Imam Ali the less are the loudest. The less a person knows Ahl Bayt, they're the loudest in their criticism of others. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Imam Ali alayhi salam says to Kumail, Imam one day takes Kumail out. You must have heard this story, right? But no one told you this is your own story. Imam Ali alayhi salam one day takes Kumail out of Kufa to the desert. When they get there, Imam says, Kumail, inna huna, he points to his chest. There's so much knowledge. And the interesting thing is this, Imam says, I can't share because even these religious scholars, if I give them, they'll use it to pretend they're better than others or to gain dunya with it. Yani Imam didn't even feel safe with the scholars at his time. He says, if I share it to people, some people don't get it, some are smart, they'll get it, but they use it not to help others. They use it to gain a position. But Imam goes forward and he says, a group of people are there in the world. Imam says, God has these group of people, and Imam says, oh, how I'm yearning to see them. Who are these group of people? Imam says, وَصَحِبُ الدُّنْيَا بِأَبْدَانٍ أَرْوَاحُهَا مُعَلَّقَةٌ بِالْمَحَلِّ الْأَعْلَى. Imam says there's this group of people whose body is in dunya, but their souls وَأَرْوَاحُهَا مُعَلَّقَةٌ بِالْمَحَلِّ الْأَعْلَى. But their souls are in another place, in a higher place. Their body, the seed, the root may be under the soil, but they don't belong there. Their soul is bil-mahall al-a'la, in a higher place. Even though they live next to animals, they know they're not one of them. They know insan doesn't live survival of the fittest. Do you see? Imam Ali said. Imam said, this dunya is not a good place for you, insan. This dunya, with all of its glory, is smaller than your soul. Your soul, the day you know how big it is, will not fit in this world. Do you know why so many beautiful souls get so low? By the way, increasingly, the more beautiful a person is, the more low they will feel. You know why? Because immediately their soul reaches the end of this world. And it says, I want more. Well, then you need to show them, yes, of course. A soul who feels low often is saying that I saw everything here. It was beneath me. While the rest of us may be chasing for that job or money or this and that, a soul who's beautiful immediately checks everything in this universe, in this physical universe, and says, I'm bigger than that. And because no one is showing them the way out, that there's more, they feel suffocated in the world. You are bigger than everything you chase, that house, that money, that person, that desire. Everything in this world is beneath you. And the day you feel that, the whole world with all of its greatness will feel so suffocating for your soul, unless someone comes and shows you the way out. Oh no, we're in a time in which religious people themselves, they don't believe this. Where can we take our pain? That a follower of Imam Ali does not believe that insan can reach high places. Where can we take our complaint? So, from religion, there's nothing coming to help people out of the soil. Where do people go? What's offered on the culture? And believe me, everything right now in offer in the culture, almost 99% of it will not help your soul break free. It may help you feel a little bit better for a while, and then it will give even a worse low mood for you. What's happening right now is that a lot of insans are getting fed up with the world. They know that money is not the solution. Just myself, in the last few years, I've had so many friends who became super rich, and they're like, you know what? Now I have no motivation. What do I do? You know what's the next stage for insan without religion? They're like, let me start doing mental practices. Let me work on my peace of mind. Let me work a little bit, be calmer. And that will, for a few years, help you. Because so far you were chasing money, and now you're like, no, it's not the money. Let me just be a little bit calm. But do you know, in a few years, that will get you even to a worse low mood. Because before that, at least that option is there. But once you try that 5, 6, 7 years, imagine, try it for 10 years of being calm, no worry, no anxiety. Then you're going to feel so low. You know why? Because like, hope, still this world is so small for me. The only thing that can help your soul is to break free from this world. سحب الدنيا بأبدان أرواحها معلقة بالمحل الأعلى. The only way you can survive, not just survive, thrive this wave that's going to hit everyone, is if you realize you're a beautiful flower and you have to break free from dunya. And you can. You're an insan. You're so beautiful. Please recite salawat. I'll finish in 2 minutes. In this period, I don't know if you accepted what I'm saying or not. We can talk about it all you want. But Allah, for those of you who accept it, in this period where you want to break free from this seed in the soil, where you find yourself next to worms, even worms within your psyche, that feeling of I'm not worthy, that feeling of I need to hurt myself, that feeling of I need to do this, that feeling. From this point till you become a beautiful flower which asks God for it, there's going to be a period in between for yourself and for the people in your family. Be patient with one another. Husbands, wives, parents, children. Even if your partner, even if your child does the worst things, know that that's not who they are. Keep reminding each other that one day we'll see the beautiful flower that this person is next to me. One day we'll all break free. But for now, we're all under soil. And in this meantime, we're going to do soily behavior. We need to be patient with one another. Forgive one another. And tonight is what? The night of the master of forgiveness. And this family was the family of forgiveness. This family treated everyone like they already are a flower. They treated everyone, even when they were doing the worst of things, said, yeah, right now you think you're next to that worm. I can see one day what you'll become. This is what special was about Ahl Bayt. They treated insan in such a way to give insan the belief that insan grow. Haven't we all gone crazy? Maybe there's this few moments in the life of Imam Ali which has made people crazy for 14 centuries. What is that? That moment that he showed love even to his killer. In that moment which has made all of us go crazy for 14 centuries, every year people share that and it brings tears to all of us. You know why is that? Because we all deep down inside us know there's something more. We know we can become beautiful. We know we can become forgiving. We know we're bigger than holding a grudge 10 years or a pain for 5 years or a fear for 2 years. We know we can be like that. And Imam Ali's action of even being nice to his killer is reminding you that another way of life is possible for you. That's why it brings that tears to your eyes, because you know this is what you want.